So it looks like Sevan has worked out the only way the women's field could take down Tia. But I doubt they'll do it. Welcome back to the channel. And yes, the CrossFit Games are fast approaching, and it seems like an almost foregone conclusion that we will see Tia-Clair Toomey crowned for the 6th time as the fittest woman on earth, something that has not been done on either the men's or women's side of the field. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some incredible women in the field this year, but can they honestly beat Tia? Haley Adams was recently on the Sevan Podcast, and notice what happened when Amanda Hari called in.
Amanda Hari we have.
Yes, that is who you have.
Super
Hi,
CrossFit
Haley.
Games reporter.
I do have a YouTube channel, and I am a reporter. I wanted to ask Haley what the field has to do to beat Tia.
When you find out, let me know. So, literally, it's crazy how good she is, and yeah, I don't even really know the answer to that question, but be better than her, I guess. It's crazy.
Well, if you aren't a Haley Adams fan already, I mean, after that clip, how can you not be? I thought she handled that question really well, but actually her answer is interesting, isn't it? Tia is just that good. Now, some could say that's defeatist, and if you have that attitude, well, of course you're never going to beat Tia. But what do we mean when we say Tia is just that good? Well, notice what Adrian Bosman had to say on the CrossFit Games podcast.
And to me, this kind of harkens to what I thought was such an impressive feat last year that I can't believe people just don't bring it up all the time. And maybe they do, and I'm just not listening. But, you know, when Tia-Clair on the first day of competition last season, she won the hour plus event, hour sustained effort, and then she wins the shortest event of the weekend, the 550-yard sprint. It's a minute and change. And then she wins a little bit later in the competition, the heaviest lift event, the 1-rep max snatch. I mean, you open the physiology textbook and it tells you that should not be the case. You should not have the same athlete that wins the endurance event, win the sprint event, and then win the lifting event. That's not the way it's supposed to happen, but there she is doing it. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's so cool, number one. And number two, I don't know how anybody could look at that even externally and say, all right, with these combination of abilities, I believe there's somebody fitter. It's like, how? Show it to me. I don't understand how that could happen.
So here's the important point. Nobody should be that good across so many different domains. And that is the real problem for the other athletes in the division. Now let's just head back to Amanda on the Sevan podcast for a second.
What do you think? Amanda?
I think it's going to be a group effort. I don't think it's going to be one athlete that can take Tia down. I think it's going to have to be everybody trying to chip away and just get ahead of her and push her down to the second, third, fourth place finishes. Because right now she's finishing first in every event, and there's just no way to beat her then.
So this is quite a common idea I've heard thrown around by different people, that it's not going to take one individual to beat Tia, but what you need is a collection of the women to kind of chip away at the points, and that's how you could beat Tia. I just don't think that's possible. So thinking back to last year, for example, even if 2 people were able to get ahead of Tia in the sprint, forcing her to come third, and then maybe 2 people were able to outlift her, again forcing her to take a third place. So yes, in this case, she takes 2 third places instead of 2 first places. But the problem is that probably the people that beat her on the sprint won't have done well in the max lift. And vice versa. The strong girls on the lift probably won't have done as well in the sprint. And this is the problem. Tia is just too good across too many different domains. So this idea of like teaming up to chip away at points, it's just not going to work with how scoring in CrossFit works, with how CrossFit events work in general. Does that mean that Tia is unbeatable? Well, of course not. Everyone is beatable, technically. But the idea that people would be able to somehow slip past Tia on points because other people have been consistently chipping away at the points, that's not what's going to happen. The only way someone can beat Tia is that somebody has to beat Tia. Someone has to have put in the work, be as gifted as Tia is and actually be able to take her on these different events. They cannot rely on the rest of the field to do the job for them. Although, maybe there is one way they could team up to take down Tia.
A team effort. Like someone hold her down in the back while the rest of the girls go. Like in a run, someone just take one for the team and push her.
She's insanely good. It's crazy.
Sevan's got a point. If one of the girls is willing to take the hit and take out Tia maybe on the run, then yes, perhaps someone will have a chance of beating Tia. But when we consider that at the CrossFit Games, we usually see the athletes coming out and cheering on their competition to encourage them to finish a workout, I would be very surprised to see someone turn heel. So if that's not going to happen, and Tia is just the most dominant athlete across a variety of domains, I guess until she says enough is enough, Tia's just going to keep collecting trophies. But don't let that put you off watching the games, because one of two things can happen. Either we're going to see Tia win again and take her 6th championship, really solidifying herself as the most dominant CrossFit athlete of all time. Or we are going to see the most incredible upset in CrossFit Games history and somebody beat Tia. Either way, it's going to be incredible to watch. Thanks for watching. I'm sure I'll be in the comments during the game, so maybe I'll see you there, but if not, I hope to see you in a future video.